I really appreciate you joining me, and I hope everybody's had a good weekend. And thank you for 300,000 subscribers. This first story of the week is about Encrochat, and it is relating to a story that has broken the Liverpool Echo. A man has been found guilty in relation to 700 kilograms of cocaine being supplied, 15 kilograms of heroin, and 40 kilograms of amphetamines at Liverpool Crown Court on Friday. The jury was convinced he was the user of an Encrochat handle called Titch.com. Detectives had identified the encrypted phone network when it was hacked, the Liverpool Echo says, by French and Dutch police. And this is in fact incorrect. It was only French police. The Dutch police have denied that they had any involvement with the initial hack. Cocaine kingpin, and his name is Ryan Palin. And also they mentioned that a large bit of the evidence was because of a mural that was on his wall of UFC fighter Conor McGregor. And this was found at his home address in Caldy. And the reason why they needed this mural to convict him is because Encrochat didn't reveal your address. It didn't say exact locations for where you was. So in order for the police to be able to arrest people, they had to be told this. So they would either read it from the messages where people openly sent their addresses, or it was often depicted via pictures. Ryan's home was raided on Thursday, December the 9th last year, and officers found a luxury lifestyle that he'd been living, with £130,000 worth of designer clothes and watches that were worth nearly £130,000. Pictures that were released by the police showed the Rolex watches, Balenciaga clothes and Chanel bags, all of which were taken under the proceeds of crime. This was a joint operation with European law enforcement agencies, the National Crime Agency, and was supported by police forces and the Regional Organised Crime Unit. Palin was jailed for 29 years after the sentencing, and Detective Sergeant Graham Kehoe said, "We welcome the verdict and the sentence for Ryan Palin, and we hope that he spends longer behind bars if possible." Despite the overwhelming evidence against him, Palin decided to go to trial, and the jury saw through his lies, and this is why he's got such a big sentence. The police said they hope that this deters anybody else from making the same mistakes. So this is one of the most recent ones, and the connection to Conor McGregor and the way that he helped to convict him is also quite unique as well. But there's plenty of other Encrochat cases that I've covered on the playlist and in some other news as well. Jonathan Gordon, 24 years old, was also in Liverpool court this week, and he was described as a barbaric enforcer who plotted to blind people with acid and carried out horrific attacks, and also shared pictures of firearms. The court heard he was part of a group called the Delhi Mob in Liverpool, and he charged between £6,000 to £10,000 to blind somebody with acid. And he committed one of these attacks on April the 14th, 2019 in the St Helens area. Jonathan was identified in a parade in the incident that happened in 2019, but the man said that his health and safety was on a knife edge following the acid attack. And Encrochat revealed the messages that he'd sent to arrange other types of attacks for a fee. Jonathan used the Encrochat name Valued Bridge, and he planned a second acid attack on a man in Blackpool after his boss said that he needed a good litre of acid on him. The attack was cancelled during the first lockdown because the roads are empty, and the gangsters were concerned that the police would spot the stolen car. When the police seized the car, they found DNA that connected them to the vehicle, and Johnson's DNA was also found on gloves. The police also discovered that there was a hand grenade that was previously left in the front garden of a home on the road that he lived on, and Encrochat messages showed that he had a street fight on January the 24th, 2020 with another unknown male. Cell site evidence showed that Gordon's mobile was on Wilburn Street in Liverpool at around midnight, and this is what I'm saying by the police didn't know exactly where they were. They'd always have to pinpoint them through locations and areas and some investigations. He sent his boss a message and said that he'd let a clip off in the street. Officers attended the scene and found a door that had been kicked down to a house and Gordon's DNA on it as well, and also the handle of the back door. Messages showed that Gordon was involved in another gunfight on the 25th of May in 2020 after a bullet was fired from a Grand Power handgun and it went through the bedroom window of an elderly couple's home in Carisbrooke Road, Liverpool. Gordon was involved in a plot with Johnson to shoot up a property in Reaper Close, Warrington on the 20th of March 2020. So that was 3 different shootings that they'd connected just through Encrochat messages. Gordon was convicted of 3 conspiracy to commit grievous bodily harm charges, 2 counts of possessing a firearm with intent to endanger life, and 1 count of conspiracy to possess a firearm with intent to endanger life. He was jailed for life to serve a minimum of 24 years and 8 months. and he will be on parole for the rest of his life. Johnson of Ellesmere Port was convicted of possessing a firearm with intent to endanger life and also conspiracy to commit grievous bodily harm. He was jailed for 18 years. Wissett from Ellesmere Port also admitted conspiracy to GBH and was sentenced to 12 years and 6 months. Ben Rotter from the NCA said that Gordon left his victims with life-changing injuries and they went through an unimaginable physical and mental ordeal. The victim's bravery in helping in the investigation was also crucial in relation to the acid attack, and Jonathan Gordon is a terrifying, dangerous offender, and he wasn't concerned about totally blinding somebody in relation to getting money. The investigation took place over a number of years, and it brought the officers together in order to be able to connect them through different law enforcement agencies. So this story is a brilliant example of how long the police will wait in order to gather the evidence. So at first they knew that they had messages, but they didn't know the cases that they were connected to. And once they'd built up a picture of how many cases he was connected to, that is when they went in and made the arrests. So I really appreciate you joining me for these 2 stories about Encrochat, and I really want to hear what people have to say. Don't forget to send your stories to news@scarcitystudios.com, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.